Feet hip width apart. Soften the knees, perhaps wiggle fingers and toes. Think about the pelvis, tucking it under. Find pelvic floor and find that TVA. Pull in 100% and then a slow release. We'll do it 10 times. Just think about the shoulders being relaxed, the jaw being relaxed, some length at the back of the neck. So try not to look down towards the screen if you can. So just use the sound of me. So we go in and out and in, out, in and out, in and out, in, out. 5 more, in and out and in and out, in and out. 2 more, and in and out. Last one, and in and out. Now halfway, so not so much as taking all of your concentration. Find that engagement, that pelvic floor. There's a front bit and a back bit. Try and pull them together to the center point and TVA. Shoulder circle. So lift the shoulders up to the ears, a bit of a squeeze, and just rotate them back and around. Again, try not to dip forwards with the head. So try not to be in this position. So think about, I mean, even if you put your finger underneath your chin or push your chin back, sometimes just adjust that position on the neck. So sometimes if we're on computers or we're driving or anything like that, we end up in this slightly forward position. So just notice that length at the back of the neck. Crown and head up to ceiling. Try not to look down. Adding in. Arms left, breathing in, breathing out, coming down. Breathing in left, breathing out lower. Start to press down into the mat with your feet, so a little bit of grounding work. As you grow tall, press down even more with the feet. Think about a nice long spine, tall spine. Try not to look down again, so we're still thinking about that length on the back of the neck. Adding in, if you want, up onto the toes to take a little bit of balance. And then lower, and still tying it in with that breath. So you don't have to go at my pace here. Just working with breathing in to lift, breathing out to come down. Also noticing what happens with the pelvis. So try not to tilt the pelvis or arch in the lower back as you go up onto the balance. 3 more. Perhaps slowing down the breath a little bit for these last couple of ones. And release. So neck, shoulder glide and side bend. So lift the arm at level with the ear, then arm at level with the shoulder, ear down to shoulder, then into your shoulder glide. Take your time on these, then recenter, then over onto your side bend. And then release. So you'd have to go at my pace. You should know this one. We've done it quite a few times. Try and ground again down through the feet. So press the feet down into the mat. Try and keep the hips not still. I mean, they're allowed to move, but try and keep them again grounding just over the feet. Breathing out into that long side bend. If you need at any point a little bit longer or pause in any of the moves, even if it's just reaching the arm up or the side bend, literally just take a couple more breaths in there and hold. And you can just catch us up on the next one. Adding in on the side bend, you can go both hands up and over, a lot more intensity. Use the core to recenter. Again, just breathing out. 2 more, thinking about pressing down into those feet. Check the feet are facing forwards and parallel. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit more space coming down the side of the body. A bit more release maybe in the neck. And release. We'll go to the squat. We'll do a couple, and then if you've got your weights, you might want to add your weights in. Feet hip width apart, bend the knees. Reach the hands forwards and then circle them around. So go forwards, because we can add the weights into this. circle it around. Now all month we've been putting the side steps in here, so if you want to, you could put them in side step and lift, and then down, side step and then lift. But if it's all that, I mean there's quite a lot there, it's a lot of coordination, so just see how you feel. So then you can put in your weights. So you're just going to do the same thing. You've got your squat and going up. You can do your side steps and then your squats, up and round. Think about sending the hips back into space. Try not to arch in the lower back. Pull in the core. Feet parallel, especially when you go into your side step, because obviously if you know that your feet sometimes turn out or they turn in, they probably sneakily do it as you do your side step. So you might need to check they're facing forwards. Check your knees don't pronate in. No one's got any creative dumbbells today. Everyone's got normal weights from what I can see. 3 more. Arms might be tiring a little bit now. Pull in the core, shoulders down and back. Your last one. Then keep hold of the weights, but shoulders down and back, elbows in, scapula set. Now, just check what you're doing with your wrists, so check you're not in that position. So just tuck it in, get nice and tight there in the forearm. Check your shoulders are down and back. Breathe out, open, breathe in, center. Think about the pelvis, is it tucked under? Try not to arch in the lower back. Feet parallel. Just for a little bit of fun, try one, and then back, and then try the other. I actually find that a lot harder. I don't know if anyone else does. For me, that's a lot harder. Takes so much more concentration. And then perhaps a couple of doubles again. Let's go one more. Then release the arms down and just take a nice easy twist, and you can just let the weights, kind of the momentum of the weights go around the body. Shoulders completely relaxed. You can look around, look behind you. Do engage the core still, so find pelvic floor. Soften knees. Think about pressing the feet down into the mat. Try not to hold the breath. Okay, so lateral raise and then opposite leg lift. And you could just switch straight over, a bit like a sort of like a pendulum idea, and that will then challenge the balance a little bit. Without weights, you could take the arm really high. With weight, maybe just to shoulder height is sensible. But without the weights, you could maybe reach up. Think about kind of creating a little bit more space and a bit more length in the body. So just waking in or out of thigh up a little bit of hip work. Check what's happening with the foot, so is your foot turning out as you stop over? I feel a bit like one of those, you get them in waiting rooms, don't you? Like on desks, like where they have like a ball and it goes to one side and then it chips in the middle and then the ball goes out to the other side. 2 more. Okay, bicep curl. So this can be as fast as you like, really. I mean, there's no breathing really with this. So option, I'm coming close to the camera, because option is you could take it so that your wrist is facing up, or you can switch that so your wrist is going down. So when you go up, it's like biceps at the front, and then when you go down, it's a bit like triceps, which sometimes feels a bit more like running action as well. So we're going to go carry on with the bicep curl, and we did this last week. High knee, high knee, high knee, and hold. But when you hold, do 3 more of your curls. And then go high knee, high knee, high knee. And as you rebalance, see if you can keep going. Now, if you prefer, you could do running arms with the weights. She says wobbling all over the place. So it's holding into that high knee, stabilising. And you might find you have to really press down with the foot into the mat, that grounding. Use the core. It's obviously opposite arm, opposite leg, if you can coordinate that. Last time, 3 on the high knee, and then 3 running arms or bicep curls. Okay, big step, big stride. You'll know this one, we did it last week. So take a big stride, maybe meter, meter and a half, something like that. As wide as you can take it if you can. Then come down, sumo squat. So allow the knees to turn out to the side. So we're hip opening, holding your weights in the middle, and then pull in the core, tuck your pelvis under, then take your big circles in front, like you're drawing a massive yin yang. Obviously without the S shape and the dots, we can fill them in later. You're just doing the outside of your yin yang. For one way, then for the other, unless you're alternating. That's fine. Keep engaging with the core, and then maybe try and go a little bit lower. 3 more. Breathing in left. Breathing out, coming down. Last one with the weights then. Again, we did it last week. Bending one knee, take the weight down to that foot, then up, out into the far corner. So it's a bit of a kind of a wood chop action, but with the extension, lift up, shoulder press. Without weights, so you can do this without weights, you could almost, you could go up and you can kind of, you know, put a bit more, almost dance and length in there. But if you feel like you need more of a stretch and a release, you know, you could think about that. If you feel like you want more on the strength side of things. But obviously you still get a really good stretch there on the chest as you reach up. And sometimes all these diagonals, they're just so good for us because we don't really do diagonals in normal life, do we? We tend to walk around in straight lines. Probably for the best. 2 more. Apart from netball, I think in netball you must go a bit diagonal. Okay, yeah, I thought I was thinking that then. It's all the dodging, isn't it, in netball? Okay, palms together at heart centre. Balance. Now, I did this a few weeks back where I said put one foot on top of the other foot. And it's really wobbly, isn't it? Press down with the bottom foot into the mat, draw in the core. Just see if you can hold, not your breath, close your eyes. Hold your eyes. Close your eyes 5 seconds without holding your breath. Then release and see if you can do some heel lifts, maybe 8 to 10. On this, really press down the foot into the mat. So we're really thinking about connections from the feet, going to the glutes, the core muscles, And if you can, think about kind of like foot to mat. So I did a course last week on parkour randomly. I'm not going to start parkour, but where they jump, you know, they jump from curbs and all sorts. And he was talking about how quickly their feet go down to the ground and back up again. So they do a lot of fast skipping, which obviously we don't really do in Pilates, but I was just thinking we could translate what he was saying. We'll stop legs. We can translate that into our heel lifts, this idea of doing it a little, maybe a bit more quicker at times. Same thing. Perhaps put the foot on top of the other foot. Close your eyes, count to 5. Engage with the core. Shoulders relaxed. Maybe eyebrows relaxed if you're frowning. Then do your heel lifts, and again, think about pressing down with the foot. Engaging the glutes, engaging the core. Working with the chains of muscles. I don't know what parkour would look like around where I live, because obviously I think it would end up being probably jumping over sheep and things like that. There isn't really any curves. Okay, single leg exercise of your choice. So you could do your dips on the stairs, on the step. You could do your lunges. You could do your deadlift. You could do your single leg squat on a chair. 10 on each side, so just a maintenance one on this. Sometimes if you're on the steps it's a bit quicker, so you might want to do 15 on each. I'm going to go with the deadlift today, which I'm watching, same as Alistair. And I'm going to put weights in. If you're doing deadlift, you could, and same with lunge, you could alternate and swap each time. Same on the chair exercise. Actually, even on the stairs, you could probably do that as well. Sometimes though too, but I suppose it's whether you want to challenge yourself on balance and recentering each time, or whether you want to trigger the same muscle over and over and kind of really work on developing strength. I've lost count already. It's because I'm talking. I'm just going to do it until Alistair stops because he's doing the same one as me. Hopefully he's counting. Notice if you're holding your breath, especially on the chair one. In those lunges, try and send the hips forwards and up, pull in the core. So, got a few people coming back in. We will all meet in a downward dog. So if you finished, we can go down to the mat, maybe a slow roll down, chin to chest, slide hands down the legs, and find your downward dog. Perhaps pedal through, stretch out calf muscles, hamstrings. Soften knees. If you feel like you're not getting that nice kind of mountain peak shape, then soften the knees, send the chest towards the thighs. See if you can get your arms around your ears, and then perhaps a few pedal throughs. Couple of deep breaths. Again, if you feel like you're not getting your shape, maybe just again think about chest to thighs. Lift the heels up as well. Don't kind of stress over getting the heels down too much to get that stretch on the backs of the shoulders. And then perhaps another little pedal through. Bring it down into dolphin, so onto the elbows. See if that helps you create that triangle shape just a little bit easier. Again, you don't need to have your heels down. I don't think I've ever had my heels down in a dolphin. But I'm still getting that stretch there on the backs of the shoulders, sending the hips up. I've got my heart above my head. So it's very invigorating, kind of start the, not the day, but restart the body. If only we had one of those reset buttons, wouldn't that be amazing? A couple of deep breaths. Draw a circle with the hips. Just listening to the body, maybe what it needs. Then take one wrist stretch, so one hand, the fingertips point towards the knee. Try and put equal pressure through both hands when you do your wrist stretches, so you're not overstretching. And then over to the other side. Then neutral spine, and we did this a few weeks ago, just tapping the feet, which might feel quite nice after some of the stretches, just to wake them up, get a bit of blood flowing down there in the feet. I find as well, if I'm a little bit tired, I actually can't do it continuously. So it's always quite a good way to gauge how your body is, to see if you can do feet tapping. Quite nice for the lymph as well. Come down child's pose, sit back towards the feet, perhaps a little wiggle of the hips side to side. If child's pose doesn't suit your needs, you could take your puppy dogs. But then we're going to go for a little bit of a massage on the feet. So just take the hands back towards the feet, and you could probably do very similar in puppy dog actually. Just take some little squeezes in the feet, maybe the toes, just putting little pressure points in really. The big ball of the foot as well, especially the arch of the foot, that always quite nice. That can get quite tight if you're doing lots of walking or running. And the heel. Couple of deep breaths, take your belly breaths to send the air all the way down towards the tummy or the lower back. Sometimes that's an easier way to visualise that.